Good evening and salutations, my soap opera fans. So, as the title says, who killed Damian Kane on Young and Restless? Now, I had a thought, and then when I saw the thumbnail, it made sense. Maybe it was the person that has been with him for quite a while, who just got tired of playing second fiddle. Now, if you saw the thumbnail, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I'm talking about Holden. Holden, whatever his name is. We got a lot to talk about, people. You know how we do. Okay? So hit that like button on the way in. Understanding that I'm one person, I'm not going to sit there and even try to attempt to get to every single person because it's just impossible. But let's just have some patience, have a good time, and you know, hang out. Hey, Amy H is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Queen of the South is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Sean is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Tommy is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Crystal is in the chat. How you doing tonight? I'm doing good, Tommy. How are you doing today? I hope you had a good day, by the way. Hope everyone had a good day. I'm good, Sean. I was actually off today from work, so I was really good. Thank you for asking. How you doing tonight, Susan? It's good to have you. Of course, I gotta see how the Queen is doing. Now, Tommy said, I don't like how Eva is taking Thomas to. You know, yeah, Sean. Not waking up violently early in the morning when your body's not ready to wake up is a really good feeling. Okay, so Eva should tell no to Thomas. Oh, Thomas, you are her sister. Was good at. Okay, here's the thing. Thomas was so out of pocket today. First of all, you were out there, you sniffed it, telling Kat's business, which is out of pocket, about her being a virgin. You sniffed it, kissing her twice. And Dominics made a point yesterday of saying, well, they're not exclusive, so what's the problem? But the thing is, if Kat did what Thomas did, I'm pretty sure he would be upset. What's good, Francis? How you doing tonight? Tommy says, it's your sister. I know it's you have your differences. This is Loda. Yeah, but also sabotaging her job is also pretty low. That's what Kat did. Kat has been treating Eva like dirt simply because of her status, which is already messed up in itself. But you had to get at, one second, Sean. You had to get at Eva you had to get back at Eva so much that you was willing to sacrifice your dad's job to do it. Like, that's so out of pocket. And Sean says Albert Kyle is a fool. He still thinks Audra company is real. Okay. I can, okay. Of course, Francis. Ed says Albert at this point Willow doesn't care about Michael and she's down for it. Well, it's past the point of not caring about Michael. She blames Michael. She's ungrateful for everything that Michael has done, and she's not taking accountability for anything that she's done. That's my issue. Now, Melissa says Albert, the separation was inevitable anyway. It was not. It was not that shocking, but I was expecting Sarah to say that instead. That is something I can agree on you with. Yes, that is something I can agree on you with, Melissa. That is something I can agree on. And I know that I'm not. That's something else too. Oh, now Monique says Lucas can't be this naive. Does he not know how the mob works? Lucas going hard for a man he only known for 5 minutes. Yeah, that's been something that even Carly has said. But I'm gonna sit there and say it again, like I said it before. Okay, Carly was out of pocket. And I love how somebody in my comment section was going to say, "Well, we don't. It's safe to assume that Marco may be more in Sitwell's business than we thought." My whole thing is, you don't know exactly how far Marco is in this business, and for her to sit there and say, "Well, I mean, Sitwell is his dad, so whatever bad stuff, whatever bad stuff." happens, Sitwell, what's good, Lobby? Um, Sitwell's a bad man. I was like, well, most people consider Sonny a bad man. You're basically sitting there saying, one second, Francis. You're basically sitting there saying that, well, because Sitwell is a bad man, then whatever happens to Marco happens to Marco. But you wouldn't feel that way about your own son, though. So, like, how could you even, like, what? Like, she just came across as a total hypocrite. Sean says, "What do you think about Scout calling Willow mom?" I think she asked. It is. I mean, given who Willow is definitely just feels weird. And even if Willow was how Willow was before Drew, it would still just be weird. I mean, I know she's a little kid, and maybe that's just how she's processing her loss, but like, it would still just be a little weird, I would say. Now, Francis says, Albert, since Connor Floyd is gone, do you think Chance will get killed off? I think that's a high possibility, Francis. I really do. I really do. Because he's not going to be on both shows. So, yes, I totally do. What's good, Big Nate? Now, Sean says, Francis, what did you say, Francis? Okay. But yes, I think it's totally possible. Actually, I could have swore I actually put that in my thumbnail. Now, Ed said, oh, shit. Ed said Kate wasn't wrong and Brady was too relaxed and can't wait to see how she gets past her mom. Yes. Yeah. We both kind of agreed on that. Yes. Francis says I agree. He really hasn't done much of a storyline. He really hasn't gotten much of a storyline anyway. Well, it's not just that, but I just don't. Yes. Yes, that is. Yeah, that's. Now, Autumn says, what irks me when Nina was confronting Drew, he was like, oh, I would never hurt a child. I'm like, Drew, shut up. You are the same man that tried to manipulate poor Wiley, saying his dad don't want him. Yes. Yeah. And yes. And yes. I agree with that. That's why when he said, like, what? I would never do that. I was like, really, Drew? Really? Now, Monique says Dante and Lulu were getting on my nerves just because they feel the same way about Brit or Dr. O doesn't mean Rockwell has. Yeah, exactly. Yes. I'm glad I'm the only person that thought about that. Absolutely. I'm like, stop trying to force him into thinking like you. You know? That's why when Lulu was like, oh well, don't sit there and talk to my son because you're gonna confuse him into what we already told him. I was like, telling him or brainwashing him. Like what are we doing? Now, Tommy says Audra is scared. Are you talking about tomorrow's episode or something? That says, oh, okay. I don't know what the hell is going. I'm not gonna lie, Tommy. I didn't understand that seduction scene. I didn't understand that seduction scene though. Oh, that she got nothing to go back to. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. He absolutely did, Monique. And I sat there was like, first of all, I'm not gonna lie, Monique. The minute they started doing that whole sniffing thing, I was like, ah, shit, we gotta sit there and deal with Daphne. We gotta sit there and deal with Daphne's doofy ass. Here we go. How you gonna sit there and say you missed another woman? Like, bro, aren't you getting engaged to Hope? Did you forget about that shit? No, Ed said Carly has some nerve because she was seeing Franco when she thought Franco was Jason's twin and excusing his past. She was also out of pocket for today as well. What's good, Jonathan? Did you see the promos or something like that, Sean? Because I don't remember seeing that in the promos. I keep forgetting that there's two Seans. Um, yeah, it's exactly, Sean. And I think that's why she dismissed it. That's another reason why she dismissed it. Because, Jason said something along the lines of, well, you're not listening. At one point, you thought I was dead. And Carly was like, well, that's different. I'm like, no, it's not. Alyssa J. What is good, Alyssa J? It's good to see you. Yeah. Let's everyone say what's up to Alyssa J. Been far, 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 far too long. Um, Autumn says, I but even Portia could see. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Lord B. Autumn said, even Portia could see the crazy out of Willow. I'm like, Nina, you should have told Willow a long time ago about the type of man Drew was. This is all your fault. I can't wait to laugh at the wedding. Oh, not at all, but I get what you're saying though. I really did have a lot. I know Alyssa's been going for too long. Alyssa always be going. Every time I sit there, I start slamming Carly. Exactly. Cheers, my dear. Cheers. MJ, what's good, MJ? Been busy. Well, okay. No, it's good to see you. That's all. It's good to see you, Alyssa. You've been missed. Well, yeah, Ed, but then she also sat there and she confronted Leslie. Um, and then she went over there and then threatened her again. I'm like, girl, are you trying to get your ass arrested? You know, Monique, I didn't catch that. I didn't catch the smirk, but that's interesting. Francis says 25 people in the chat and only 9 likes. Yes, hit that like button. Oh, I forgot his name, Alyssa. I think his name is Carter or something like that, right? Tommy says Audra is so stupid she could have gotten a free company, but no, she wanted to stick it to Tucker. Yeah, yeah, you're actually right. Tommy, you are 100% correct. You are 100% correct. I mean, it just kind of sucked at the way the storyline went. It's like they just decided to just let go. What you call it? It took me a second. You know, that's the thing, Alyssa. Sometimes there's so many. What's good, Shakira? Me, I killed Damian. That is. I yes. I'm still sitting there thinking it could be what you call it though. I don't know why. Um, I don't. I mean, honestly, to tell you, yeah, I guess it would make sense, or would it? I don't know. I mean, it could be Hogan. Also, I also don't understand how Kyle Smith to act like he got this real big victory. It was good, Shakira. It's good to see you. I don't understand how you act like he had this real big victory against Audra, and I'm like, bro, you made out with her on a bed. How are you going to sit there and explain that to Claire? Oh, I only started making out with her, kissing her over her body, just to sit there and see how far she was going to take it. Like what? What is she? Was she going to thank you or something? Or just Queen Janet? How is the lovely rock star of realisters doing tonight? And Janet says Willow is crazy. Seriously, she is a rock star in her field. Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, Alyssa, Kane could have flew him out, could have flew him back and forth. You know, that's true, Tommy. That is true. I'm glad to hear that. Shakira said Kyle still kind of cheated in a way. Exactly. I'm like, bro, you don't sit there and count cheating as you making out with her and everything like that, and being like, oh, I got you. I pulled through all of your eyes. No, Sean. Audrey does not know, but she's gonna feel like shit as well. That's the thing, Sean. She's gonna feel like crap as well. And Monique says Sally and Audra both dumb as hell. Audra thinks Victor is going to give her what she needs. Didn't learn her lesson the first time. Sally had up fashion to work with Billy for a company is non-existent. Didn't get off the ground yet. Yes. And Jenna says Beyond the Gate, Madison's story is bad. I've heard people sit there and say the actress is also pretty bad too. Like she's not a good actress. But it's funny, Janet. I actually did give you a shout out on my Days of Our Lives review. I did. Francis says, Albert, are they ever going back to Genoa City? Yeah, but I get it. You're not a fan of how long the story is taking. A couple people. Yes, I did. So, I'm watching it today, and the way that Sophia had to sit there and tell this daffy ass story, how she gave up the baby, but no one was there, and how Brady and Tate had to sit there and believe her, just how kooky this story is. I remember you sitting there saying, like, yeah, I can't watch Days of Our Lives. Like, you was like, I can't take it seriously. And I'm looking at this story, and I'm like, I can see why Janet doesn't watch Days of Our Lives. I mean, I love the show. I always sit there and think it's like second best to General Hospital, sometimes first, give or take. But I understand why people won't necessarily rock with it. And I was like, I can see why Janet doesn't watch the show. Right? Like even the dog characters, like he haven't done anything in this show to improve it whatsoever. He has been a total and utter waste. But like Alyssa says, Nate and Audra are going to break up because the plan Audra went along with Victor to. Yeah, absolutely, he's going to kick her ass to the curb. Ed says, so Marco lied, and I wonder how Sitwell's going to handle this going forward. Hopefully, he burns Sunny Life to the ground. Now, Alyssa says Chelsea is still clueless. She should have left Allison at that place instead of dropping her off at the hospital. Tommy says if you kiss another person when a relationship is cheap. Okay. So I'm assuming you're talking about the whole Tomas and Eva situation, right? It was good deluxe. See, I agree with that. I think some people have different definitions of the term relationship or exclusive. I don't, you know, I guess on some levels it's like you shouldn't have to put like, well, so we're exclusive, right? If you're telling them that you're going to be dating other people, then I think that's fine, right? Like if he would have been like, if Thomas would have been like, hey, listen, I'm free to see other people because we're not exclusive, then I would have understood that. But he didn't say that though. So what he did was a scumbag move. Like if Kat would have sat there and did that, he would have been pissed off. You kiss on her and you're like, whoa, I can't do that. But then you agree to sit there and go to a goddamn hotel room with her? Like, what are you doing? What's good, Tracy Steve? Happy Wednesday. Now, Ed says Chelsea listened to medicine, set boundaries, and show compassion. Yes, exactly. So, like, she actually did do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I give her props for that, even though I don't necessarily like her as much or at all, really. Sean says Days isn't as bad as last year. I don't even remember last year, so I'm gonna take your word for it. Very quick says, I'm so happy my Brit's back. I don't know if you saw the news. It's confirmed it's Brit. Also, I heard we're getting four major deaths. Hope one ain't Sunny, but Monica's Leslie and Brennan. Number four is the Who Knows. Oh, I think that she did too, Alice. I think she did too, Alyssa. But see, the thing is, at least with Chelsea, because you sat there and said, like, well, she should have just left her there and not bother to help her. I think that's a little, like, that's a little compassionless. What's good, Krista Ramirez? That's a little compassionless. A little compassionless. Compassionless. Knowing that just that they're looking like, well, you faked it. So, no, I didn't spider. But if I get some time, I'll look into it, though. Somebody, I think somebody briefly said something about Brendan, but like honestly, the thing is, Laura B, take what Spider said with a grain of salt, okay? Because nothing is confirmed, everything is speculation. So at this point, Laura B, it's just rumors. I know how you get when people sit there and spoil stuff, but it's not necessarily a spoiler. It's just a rumor. Okay? Oh yeah, no, she's definitely is coming across as a stalker. And even even when Shakira says was days good yesterday and today, it was decent. I will sit there and say it was super good, but it was decent. I mean, yeah, I get. I listen. You don't have to explain it to me. I respect your opinion, even if I disagree with it. I'm just sitting there saying, like, you can drop off at the hospital, even if she is faking it. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and just watch somebody bleed and not take them to the hospital. Now, I can take them to the hospital and I can set boundaries. Because at the end of the day, just because somebody, I mean, to be fair, Lorby, I don't think they're gonna sit there and separate it like it's actual fact or it's fiction. So that's what I'm sitting there saying, Lorby. Like, it doesn't matter if you okay, I'm gonna say this once. It doesn't matter if you hear it in my chat or if you hear it in JLJ Media's chat. Take what people say with a grain of salt because they don't work for the company. They're only getting it from like Facebook or getting it off of what somebody else says. Um, so just look at it that way. But like, just because, okay, let me put it this way: just because somebody else has nefarious reasons or whatever, I'm not going to change who I am at my core because somebody else wants to sit there and be a shitty person. You know, what's good, Amber? I don't know. It's funny too because like I sit there and I look at it. Um, I know I've been missing a list of like, but I get it was good, Amber. I get it though. Life can be life, and I'm just happy that you're here, Alyssa. That's all. And again, I wasn't trying to like you know like crap. I wasn't sitting there trying to like crap on your opinion. I just don't let somebody else's shitty actions change who you are. That's all. There are a lot of shitty people in this world. Do not let them take away who you are at your core. Now, Ed says, "What's good, Kyle?" Ed says Dante acted like Leslie didn't change, and he knows how she showed up in Maxie. I get they have issues with Brit past, but she did change for the better. But that's the same thing with Lulu. Though. That's the same thing with Lulu. Though. Like Lulu acts like nobody. Like when she doesn't like somebody, she acts like they just can't change. Yes, because yeah, she actually Gage was okay. Gage was like middle of the road if we're gonna be honest. Um, yeah, Gage was okay. It seemed like it was more of um like a filler in some sense. Let's say it's okay. Maybe Chelsea took Alice at the hospital because part of her is compassion, but Madison could see right through. Yeah, exactly. And when she told Chelsea, she was just like, "Yo, hey, listen, this chick might be playing you." She set boundaries right after that. Yeah, no, I was just gonna sit there and say that yes. Your problems are your problems with Brit, but they shouldn't have to be my problems. Yeah, I know. I said the same thing in my review, but yes. And that's the thing, Alyssa. As much as I do not like Chelsea, I'm glad she actually did take Madison's advice and be like, I guess on a side note, I stopped trying to be. It's funny, it's funny that you say that, Lord Bing, because like DC, he also does soap stuff, right? But he, like you, he likes to be surprised. He doesn't like spoilers and stuff like that. And it's the same thing with Dia, right? I surrendered to that a long time ago as far as not being surprised. Because somebody's going to sit there and tell me something either in the chat or in my DMs. You know what I'm saying? Like, did you know that this is going to happen? So I pretty much just kind of given up on that. But I find it funny that, like, Dion and DC is like, don't surprise, like surprise me. I don't want to know this stuff. It's like, bro, once you start doing this stuff, it's like you're gonna know whether you want to or not. Like that's the thing. When you start doing YouTube, people are gonna sit there and talk about it. Dion doesn't like sport. See, unless he knows what I'm about to go. No, he doesn't mind theories. He doesn't like spoilers. But yeah, remember that one time that you said a theory and that someone didn't like that and decided to go off? By the way, that one person also had that other person that we both don't like in his stream, and just her alone. Yeah. hmm I was expecting a whole round table. I was expecting a whole round table, and he just had, well, the iPhone charger. He didn't like my comment, and he deleted it. I mean, I'm not trying to like laugh like that. It's just like I remember me being there where he like snapped, you know, and I'm like, part of me got annoyed because like he didn't need to do all that. Number one, and number two, just because he didn't watch it in a couple of days doesn't mean that people aren't going to talk about it. Like I can see if you spoiled it ahead, right? But it wasn't really a spoiler because it happened a couple of days ago, and all it was just a theory. Um, Spider says, "Do you believe the rumor of Brendan dying because I don't like? I believe Monica and Leslie dead because the actress passed, but Jack is hard to believe unless." Oh, Bond. I mean, I don't believe Brendan's gonna die because I think I as much as I don't like him playing Brendan, he's a good actor. I dated someone who didn't like Darius. I mean, I get how theories can come across as spoilers, but it's not really a spoiler. You know, a spoiler is a lot different than a theory. I can sit there and say, "Well, I theory that Damon did it." I mean, I theory that Holden is the one that sat there and killed Damian. But that's just a theory. I don't know. I feel like that might be a little bit too sensitive. Ed says, so Drew suspects Willow is the one that went after Daisy. I wonder if he's going to be fine with how far. Oh, he better be how far. He better be fine with that. He had no problems that they manipulate a little kid and hurting wildly in the process. Or was he going to sit there and take some sort of moral high ground? Like, how dare you sit there and take Sasha's baby and sat there and mess around with her? Yeah, I sat there and manipulated a little kid, but that's too far. Like, I would laugh my ass off if he actually did that. Shakira said Audra wanted some that Kyle poor Nate. Or Nate, even though his family has been snitching, telling them for a while that Audra can't be trusted and you need to let that chick go. Listen, I'm a theorist, and most theories are into mystery and crime stuff. Okay, so you like true crime. Wait. So listen, do you like true crime kind of like videos and stuff? Sean says holding, killing Damian. He must have been mad at Nate. How was he mad at Nate? Frederick says, "Do do I know that person I met?" Hmm? What do you mean? Yeah, unfortunately, Jonathan. Okay, good, good. I guess. Okay, good, Alyssa. I got somebody you might want to check out. I think you might actually know him, but I'll send a profile to you anyway. 'Cause I've been watching it for a hot minute, and I think you really like his channel too. Uh, Thank you, Ed. Thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only person because, like, I saw that as a little like you get what I'm saying, right, Ed? Okay. I might got somebody that you might like. Uh, uh, I'll send over his profile to you. Ariana, how you doing tonight? Now Autumn says, I bet you broke Love Ridge and Nick fighting over her. Yep, she was just eating that crap up. Yes. Yes, Autumn, yes. Yo, Brooke is a yeah, thank you, Ed. Thank you for that. Yes. It's good to see you, Ariana. How you doing tonight? What's good, Eagle? Flicker said you were talking about somebody earlier who didn't like Darius and went off. Yeah, you do. Spider, you do. You do. It was Jail Jail. It was Jail Jail. So you know. And then it says good. I did have a good day. I was off from work. Uh, that's like almost the best kind of day, Ariana. That had off of work. But yeah, Spider. I'm not even gonna. I'm not even gonna go there. It shows that sci-fi with a little bit of mystery is strange. Spider, he got upset with Alyssa because she made a theory about something. So you know, Alyssa J, she made a theory in his live stream, and the thing was, this was a couple of episodes that he didn't watch yet. So he got upset with her because he felt like she spoiled it. But I'm like, bro, if you would have been watching it, you would have known what she was talking about. So he didn't really spoil it. She just theorized something, and it was like. Also, I just didn't. Yeah, my gorgeous queen cat lady. How are you doing tonight, my love? DC says, not me finding out Damian died from their good lord. I can't, bro. He's been dead over like 2 weeks. I know. Okay, stop. Hold on. What's good, Rosemary? Did he just not? What's good, Sir Charles? Did he not just? I want everyone to read this for a minute. What's good, Cherry Ice Cream? I want everyone to sit there and read this. He has been dead for like about at least a good over a week. Actually, about 2 weeks. And he's not there talking about spoiling it. Bro, did he just say, say that to me? That's a dumb reason to get mad. I'm sorry, Jay. Got mad at you, Alyssa. Yeah, that comment's for you, Alyssa. Bro, it's been like over 2 weeks. I know he did not just sit there and say that. It's been over 2 weeks that this dude is dead. If you didn't sit there and watch it up until this point, bro, I didn't spoil it for you. You like over 2 weeks late to the goddamn party. I mean, DC's my guy and everything. I gotta I gotta give him a little bit of hell though. I gotta give him a little bit of hell. Oh my god, thank you. Hold on, hold on. Where is it? Thank you, Alyssa. Uh, yes, it is your fault. It's your fault. 100% your fault. You can just read Alyssa's comment right there. I don't have to sit there and say anything. Thank you, Alyssa. You know whose fault is never is on this channel. I have no idea what you're talking about. I think Alyssa actually just spoke the truth. And Sean is back. The other Sean is back. Fire Chris says, I know everyone's different, but I like sports because it gets me more excited. I've said only when it comes to certain things. In WWE, I don't want to be spoiled. That's it's, a little contradictory. It's a little contradictory. Rosemary says Carter was the one that killed Damian. He was the one that did it. DC says I know whose fault it never is on this channel. Okay. DC, why don't you just sit there and say it's your fault and just take accountability. Come on now. Don't be the king of no non accountability now. Now Ed says I wonder if Tony's plan is going to work and Gabby did right the company before a while and she has a successful business. Other companies want so other companies want so she can do it. I I didn't understand that sentence. I only had one drink, so I know I read that right, but like I don't understand like what you're saying now. DC says so it's my fault. My eyes landed on a thumbnail I never should have been exposed to. Bro, Albert lacks of accountability is giving Corinthos coffee. That's it's been weeks. Did you not read what Alyssa said? It's been weeks. Weeks with a S. Yo, DC's my guy, but Jesus Christ. No, he does not. But he won't yell at you though. He won't yell at you or snap at you. So you got that going. Okay. Ed says, I wonder if Tony's plan is going to work. And Gabby was CEO of the company for a while, and she has successful business. Other companies want so she can. Okay, all right. Maybe I did read it wrong. All right. Um, I mean, Alyssa says, please don't blow up on me like James. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, I wanted to make sure. Like I'm like I know he had like one drink. Yes. Okay. See, Sean is just joking. Sean is joking because Sean was really loving those Santa Barbara scenes with Nancy Lee Grant. You can ask anybody that was there. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's joking. This man's a jokester in the member streams. But barring aside, DC's to DC. Have you been watching Hollyoaks? Have you been watching Hollyoaks? No, she wouldn't have. But she also wouldn't sit there and like if somebody said the same thing about Michael being a casualty in one of Sonny's, attempted murders, she'd be pissed off. I'm slightly current with Hollyoaks. I know that Steve is sleeping with that one girl's brother. I I'm not. I made a joke and I'm move past it. I just want to point out something out loud. That's all. And besides, it did happen. Hmm, I don't know, DC. I mean, I don't know, Spider. You was in eh, I don't see that happening for a while, if ever. So that's my take on that, Spider. Sean said nothing wrong with spoilers. Well, it's not really a spoiler if it or it's only a sport. Well, it's hard to sit there and say something's a spoiler and not like because a lot of times people get information from like Facebook and like Twitter and stuff like that. Um, and DC's over exaggerating. Um, but like some people actually do want to be surprised, and I get that. You know, uh, I'll talk to you about that later. But it's not just that they're every. Yeah, that's part of the problem is that they're everywhere. But like, I think people have to sit there and look at it like, yeah. I mean, listen, Spider. It's not even a big deal. Like on my end, it's not a big deal. I still support that person. It's not the end of the world. So, but I just don't see that really happen. That's all. I mean, being spoiler free is amazing. Well, yeah, but the thing is, though, you're still a content creator. So, like me personally, I sat there and I've given up on. Well, people spoil stuff all the time. They'll DM me. They'll be like, "Oh, well, this is gonna happen, or that's gonna happen, or whatever," right? And so, like being a content creator, you're going to get spoilers. That's why when Dion sits there and gets kind of upset when people spoil stuff, or they'll leave comments in this chat and be like, "Well, this is going to happen," or whatever. No, I didn't fall out with anyone really. On my part, I didn't fall out with anyone. But I'm just like, you're going to get spoiled. Like you're going to get spoiled. I don't understand. Like honestly, tell you the truth, DC, like you and Dion don't like spoilers, but like listen, I don't have any problems on my part. I really don't. So you can talk to the other party, but on my part, I have no issues. DC says Albert is a true victor. Nume, since he's out here beefing with everyone, I'm not beefing with anyone, bro. Like, what are you talking about? I was literally on JLJ Media's podcast. So I'm not beefing with anyone. And honestly, tell you the truth, I'm like, what is there to fix on my part? I didn't do a goddamn thing wrong. Like seriously, I didn't do anything wrong. Like if somebody else is upset, then that's on them. And when they want to sit there and you know, like fixing it requires on my part of what exactly. So like, what the fuck do I actually have to sit there and fix? Sean says Albert is the man. I'm just saying, like, there's no part on my part that I have to sit there and fix anything. And I'm not mad or anything like that. It is what it is. When the other party, the wrong part was done to me, so why are y'all still mad? Well, I'm not mad though. That's the thing though. Like, like I'm not mad. The other person is mad. It has nothing to do with me. Yank person? What yak person? I don't understand. But how did this beef start with this yak person? Get, I don't know what that means. Queen Jess, I'm not beefing with anyone, right? can we stop saying that shit? Like I'm not beefing with anyone. I sleep just fine. Oh, okay. It says so Tomas is going to take Eve back to her room and Kat's going to take her anger out on Tomas till when she finds well, yeah, and I don't blame her. I don't like I don't blame her. Like, yeah, he never sat there and said it was exclusive, but like I don't blame her for being upset. And cat lady, you being a bad kitty. That's what I'm gonna sit there and say. You being a bad kitty. I don't know who's beefing with who. I'm not beefing with anyone. Like I don't know who's beefing with who. Is there a beef or there isn't? Yeah, okay, Lord B, there's no beef on my end. There's no beef on my end. All of have one comment got blown out of fucking proportion, but okay, all right. Here's the thing. I feel like Carly and what's good, Krista Ramirez. Yeah, exactly, Jess, which has nothing to do with me. Holy. But I mean, Jason. Here's the thing. Jason and Carly felt more like brother and sister. They always felt like brother and sister. They always felt like brother and sister. I like how Jess is not sitting there paying attention to what I say, but is paying attention to what Cat Lady says. I'm not upset though. let's not sit there and try to say how I feel. Um, I love how Spider put all that shit in caps like DC. Hell no. Each letter in caps like he just pushed the cap button and just said nope. Mm-mm. But no, cat lady, I'm actually not upset. Spider asked me a question. I said no. That's not going to happen anytime soon. But that was about it. Then you said something along the lines of, "Well, I need to sit there and fix it." Like, what the fuck do I need to sit there and fix? It says, "Glad Jason checked Carly about his connection with Brett." Hmm. Yeah, no, I have nothing to sit there and sit fix in my heart, and I stand by that. So, but there's no beef or anything like that. DC says, so Abba is beefing with the Jabal and the yeah. DC, you are one of a kind. I'm not beefing with anyone. Why do you keep saying that for? First of all, oh, that's hilarious. Oh, that's good. Okay. You know what? I need to screenshot that. Hold on. I don't know. Why don't you sit there and ask? Why don't you sit there and ask some winter inks? You asked me for it. Oh wow. I'm sorry. That came out. That tone came out kind of bad. That was that was not my intention. I want to sit there. Oh, that was good, Jess. That was good. I screenshot that. Bro, I'm laughing. Oh my lord. No, Lorby, it's some sort of imaginary beef that I don't have. You know what? Okay, fuck it. I said it. I've said it in the member stream, and I said it, and I'll sit there and say it here. I'll say it once because I want people to hear it, and then we're gonna move on. I went on JLJ Media's chat because I actually told you if I want to sit there and drop the animosity there. You know, I may not like how he does his chat and some of the stuff he does in his chat, but honestly, tell you having all that petty, back and forth or talking about how I don't like about what he does to this channel, just seemed kind of stupid. So I went on this way I could sit there and drop that. Now, Kyrie's may not have liked that, but I do apologize to Cat Lady because I didn't sit there and think about it at the time when I went on there. So I do apologize to Cat Lady, but that's the only person I'm going to sit there and apologize to. And that's that. Okay, so now that we got that out the way, what the hell was he sitting there talking about before? Oh no, Sean, no, I've been let it go, but I want to sit there and clarify it. So he's mad at you went on that live. You're gonna have to sit there and ask him. Yes, you're gonna have to ask him. But yeah, that's what that's about. Now, Monique says, does Allison from Beyond the Gate have that disease when you fake sick to get sympathy? I think she just, like, she's going by, like, somebody said something, I forgot what it was, but she's practically like, oh no, fatal attraction. She's having that fatal attraction shit going on. You know, when Titans Industries is mad at you, he stays mad for. Hey, listen, nothing I can do about that. But yes, yeah. So you know. Uh, anyway, DC says Allison, Madison, Chelsea all look the same person. I'm not gonna lie, DC. I feel like that comic could be taken out of pocket. I really do feel like that comic could be taken out of pocket because you know where that comic can go, right? As says, Albert, do you think Allison is going to kidnap Chelsea? No, I think she's doing more about manipulation. DC, you know damn well how. I want you to sit there and think about the comment you just said. Does Allison, Mate, Madison, and Chelsea all look alike? PC Gamer War? What's good, PC Gamer? Okay, but yeah, I listen. I was gonna be calm, but you get why I'm sitting there saying why he. Thank you, thank you. Yes, yes. There you go. There you go. Okay, but you okay, but you see how that. Listen, I'm glad that I'm glad that it was gonna be cop. I'm glad that Spider actually brought that shit up. I should pin that shit, but um, I never actually looked at it like that, so I would actually have to sit there and think about that. But I mean, I said it kind of jokingly, but I don't know. I would have to. Hmm. I can. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say anything. Okay, now Spider says to me only Alice and Madison look alike, like sisters or cousins. Chelsea don't look. Yeah, Chelsea don't look like that. Chelsea don't look like that. No, no, actually, I agree with Spider. Alice and Madison do kind of look very similar. I would sit there and say that. Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? Chelsea looks like Matt. I don't. Okay, I don't see. I don't see. I don't see. I don't see. Chelsea and Madison looking like. I don't. But okay, Ed says Albert. None of those women look alike. Now, Johnson says it probably wasn't a good idea for Nicole to confront Leslie at her house. No, it wasn't. DC said a comment a couple of days ago. He was like, "Is it me or is Nicole Smith making a lot of this stuff about her? Like the whole not being there for Martin and everything like that, but not Smith. They're thinking about how Martin and Vernon had to sit there and deal with some Proud Boys. It was good, Mika. How to sit there and deal with some Proud Boys. Which, by the way, okay, we're gonna sit there and talk about Beyond the Gates. Um, First of all, I'm gonna be honest. I'm so sick and tired of these crusty ass old women that are banging at like Anita's door, talking about, "Oh well, you ghosted us. Where have you been at? You got our hopes up, and they're thinking that we're going to sing, and now you decide to like back out. Like, okay, they backed out. She backed out. So what? It was good, Jay Blue. Yeah, it's funny. And Andre said the same thing about Danny. Anita owes. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, hold on. Okay, wait. Hold on, hold on. I would sit there and say eeny, meeny, miny, mo, but all right. What the fuck? What? Oh no, hold on. I got the wrong person. Wait. Is DC trolling or DC? Are you trolling or are you being serious? What the? Okay, it's fine. I'm gonna deal with you in a minute. Hold on. DC says Anita owes them, and she didn't, and she did get their hopes up. Those women need the money. Okay, cat lady, you know how this drill goes. I'm not even gonna. These women need the money. Can we all just sit there and just take a hot minute to look at this? No, I seriously want y'all to take a look at this. Okay? Y'all tell me if DC is not trolling the hell. I blame it all on Nancy. Okay, Sean, listen, I get it. Nestle Grahn is your favorite actress, okay? Don't worry. I will sit there and get some more clips with Nestle Grahn, and we're gonna watch them in the member circle, okay? Because that's what you're saying to me. Thank you, Alyssa, the voice of reasoning. That's such a problem with Anita bandmates. They think they are getting a career after this, and that Anita owes them. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Ed. Yo, Sean, you are a character. You are a character. DC says, "Now I've been making this the other woman's fault when Anita was wrong." What the? Okay, so we all can agree that DC is trolling, right? I mean, DC is a good guy. He just likes to troll. This is him trolling. Do, 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 do you think the woman say Jason? Do you think the woman Jason saw and is really Brit? I think so. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just highlighting, just just highlighting stuff. Now, Alyssa says Anita owned up to her actions, but Sharon and Tracy are doing. What's good, Unlimited? You see, Alyssa, you see why I need you here? Now you see why I need you here, Alyssa? Thank you, Unlimited, thank you. Bro, do you not see Alyssa's comments? Alyssa literally is saying the same thing I'm saying, except for, obviously much better. However, needs my. It's not just me, though. It's giving Marlena Evans. Bro, it's not just, it's not just me, though. Like, Alyssa's saying the same thing. Alyssa, it's good to see you again. Seriously. Don't stay gone so long next time. No, 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 no. Don't do that, DC. Let Alyssa cook. Okay. Johnson says, I guess Dr. Owe must have found a way to revive her. Yeah. Hey, no, 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 DC. You let Alyssa cook, okay? Haven't got to sit there and see her. Oh, shit. Alyssa says, I'm actually cooking, not trolling. Okay, well, you can still cook too, though. God was, God, we gotta help Alyssa. You don't, you don't do that. You don't do that. You let her cook, okay? Protect Alyssa at all costs because she is telling the truth. Why the hell are these that they're teaching James how to sit down and throw a goddamn axe? What is this dude like 9 or 8 or something? No, no, don't do that, DC. Let this woman cook. Yes, protect the listener. Whoa, 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 whoa. Feel like somebody may take that shit out of context. Let's not say that, DC. Spider says, I love me some Brit and Lulu. Look, Albert, when Brit comes back to PC, she got to put Lulu in her place. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, she got to put Lulu in her place. Bro, who are your allegiance to? I thought you was not there rocking with Lulu. Brit got to. Why does Brit got to put Lulu in her place? Alyssa, DC's just mad that you telling the truth. You cooking, you putting it out there. Don't listen to DC. Have a great night, cherry ice cream. You want to explain that, Spider, before I do? Albert Lulu's whoa, whoa. Spider Craig says Albert Lulu's doing too much now when it comes to Lulu versus Brooklyn. I'm on the whole goddamn sentence isn't making any sense. Lulu's doing too much now when it comes to Lulu and Brooklyn. I'm on Lulu's side. First of all, that whole sentence didn't make any sense. You know what? Spider Craig, I'm gonna shortcut this for you. I'm gonna shortcut this for you. This dude is literally sitting there siding with Britt because in his eyes, Britt looks better than Lulu. That's literally why it is. There. I just saved you like a good, I don't know, 7 minutes of you sitting there trying to explain yourself right now. This dude was literally about Britt the entire time in my chat, in Kyrie's chat. Oh no, Britt's doing. I mean, Lulu's doing too much now. Mhm. As he takes a sip, as I take a sip and tell the truth. But I mean, cat lady, you know, if I get a hangover, it's your fault. Jay Blue says, DeMarco actually see Jason when he was taken? Nope, I don't think so. How far along are you with Days of Our Lives? Okay, so I Craig said, what if I think Lulu looks better than Britt? But you don't. Yeah, I mean, but you don't. You don't. You're gonna sit there and try to type in the chat, oh, I think that Britt looks better than I mean, I think Lulu looks better than Britt, but no. DC, I guess we're gonna spoil it for you again. Doug had potential to be a better character, but Chu Horton necklace storyline wasn't helping him grow as a character. You didn't have to. You didn't have to. I get that, Spider. You didn't have to, but you know, yes, yes, you are 100% correct. I mean, I literally couldn't say the sentence better myself. Let's be honest. Doug was a loser. Doug was a loser, and he brought nothing to this show. And yeah, Doug is going. Yep, Doug is leaving Salem. Um, hmm, whenever you want to watch Days, whenever you get a chance to watch Days, Cat Lady, you can watch Days. So he's still alive. Yes, he's still alive. Psycho says my problem with Lulu is she only wants to tell Rocco one story and won't understand people can change. Well, that's a fair assessment. Right, that's fair. I still do think that you think that Brit looks better, but I can see what you're saying. Sorry, I thought you meant dog. Oh shit, yeah, no. See, this is what happens when you watch so many shows and you have characters no with the same goddamn names. But I mean, you can still watch Days of Our Lives if you want. Blackmon, aka Mr. GQ, is in the chat. Yeah, DC out here is not there slandering my good name. Absolutely, Jonathan. I'm seeing it on Sunday. I'm seeing it on Sunday. So I'm really looking forward to it. Besides, I don't have to sit there and pay as much money to sit there and see it on Sunday and not sit there and spend money at the movie theaters like a crackhead. I'm not slandering. Are you going to say, ooh, Jonathan is ballsy? Okay, you got to see it on opening night with the whole crowd. I got to do that shit on Sundays. I don't think crackheads go to. No, DC, but you know what crackheads do? They spend an over absurd amount of money to go see a movie theater and buy food and stuff like that. That's I mean, DC, have you? So now, no, that's not what I said. That's no, no. Don't do that. That's not what I said. Okay, you called me. Yes, I think Red hotter, but that's not why I'm on the side. I'm on the side. No, but you do have a point, though. You do have a point. You do have a point, Spider. I'm just saying. You know, you, you spend X amount of money on food and everything like that. Like that's just crazy. Johnson says you should get the app that allows you to order tickets and snacks ahead of time. I mean, yeah, but they still come out to be super expensive. Like, I mean, unless it's cheaper to sit there and get the snacks and stuff. Okay, now Alice, Alyssa says Xander and Sarah clashing is pissing you off. Plus, Gwen coming back and causing trouble is bothering me. Why? No, I'm very curious about your reasons for that. I mean, with Gwen, I feel like we're coming back to the same crap that we had before. Like she's still sitting there telling her sob story. I grew up like this and like that, and my life is bad, and it's your dad's fault. And it's like we're still doing this shit. Yeah, and I get that, Alyssa. She's still on that petty shit. It's funny, Alyssa. Shakira was actually liking that stuff, and I'm like, girl, you got everything that you want. You come back and you dangle a neck. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan of Julie. I am not a fan of Julie, but like you haven't grown as a character. You still. I mean, I don't know how to feel about that. It's like people. Okay, Nick on B&B was great. It's like you come back and there's no character growth. You got everything that you want. You're rich and everything, and yet even when JJ was like, listen, you need to get over it. Jonathan. Okay, so I looked at Nick on BNB today, and first of all, Brooke needs to sit down and go with Nick. Okay? Listen, you know me. I don't do relationships. I don't do couples and stuff like that. But for Brooke's integrity, the little bit that she has left, she needs to sit there and be with Nick for so many reasons. But my whole thing was like Nick was sitting there playing games with their fabric and their business, and he only now dropped the call like, "Oh, yeah, okay, you can give them their fabric." And I'm like, and Brooke smiles. I'm like, he's he's on some petty shit, and you just like, what? I know, DC. I'm just pretty awesome that way. Jill says, "We see what? We see what? I can't get the I." Spikework says my thing is Julie forgot about that trash guy as necklace. Go the F up and live your life before you pass in a few years. Julie gotta move on. What? Wait, so this is wait. I don't understand how you coming at Julie though. Yeah, I'm not exactly a fan of it. No. Okay, Johnson says pettiness is wanted when it comes to flip floppers. Yeah, Spider. I mean, yes, J Blue. I'm talking about. I can't fully blame you on that, Spider. But it's not just a necklace. It's the family heirloom. But I will sit there and say like, Doug is family. He's young. I don't do passes, but like, you know, no, 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 don't. That's no. J Blue, I said that it's crackheadish to spend money on like popcorn and like food at the movie theaters because the movies is already expensive. It's already overpriced. Why am I going to sit there and spend $9, $10 on a goddamn hot dog and like $13 on popcorn? That does not seem like that makes sense. That's what it says. So cat lady, she just she just jogging. Exactly, Lorby. Yes. DC says, but what crackheads buy food at a movie theaters at a gas station, 7-Eleven, more bang for your buck. Well, there you go. It's a bit. Thank you, the fucking voice of reason. Thank you, Ariana. Thank you. Thank you, Ariana. Thank you. That's not what I said, Carolina. Don't put words in my mouth. Thank you, Ariana, for being the voice of reasoning. As says Albert, did Nick ever get out that room when Kane and told him he couldn't read? No. Um, I don't know about tomorrow's episode because I didn't see tomorrow's episode, but no, he's in that room. I mean, this Kane story is like, and I didn't call her a crackhead. Don't, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't put words in my mouth. I know what I said. I'm very good with my words. I know what I said. That's not what I said. She she likes to joke. She has a really good imagination, people. I mean that it serves her well. Also, she has a YouTube channel. Check her channel out. You know, DC says exactly, Spider, and exactly. Now you see where I'm coming from, right? Just don't know how to do it all. I guess I'm just a goddamn rock star. There you go. There you go, Jay Blue. Now you know what I'm talking about. Have a good night, Ed. Oh, don't do that, Kyle lady, because I'm not the only person. So this is not. But yes, have a good night. DC says, but people want to take, but people want to be taken on a date those days, but the movies are expensive. Dating is expensive and it really shouldn't be. We need to bring back arranged marriages. We would all find love. I don't think he's actually joking about that. I don't know, no, DC. I don't think he's actually joking about that. Where's my other comment though? But thank you, Spider, for noticing that. There you go. There you go. Ugh, people, I tell you sometimes. How do I do it? DC says actually don't think arranged marriages are a bad thing. Now, Sean says my friend Jen called me a Nancy Grind hater, and she's right. I can't fully disagree with you because I don't think that Nancy Grind is necessarily a good person. Exactly. Alyssa knows. Spike says last time I went to the movie theaters, I watched Spider-Man No Way Home on my birthday a few days after it came out, and I never eat movie. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not doing that. I'm not spending $9 to $10 for a hot dog. I'm not spending $13 for popcorn. That's nuts. That's nuts. $17 for a goddamn movie? Like, I thoroughly pick out a movie I would go and see. Ariana says Nancy Ground roots go deep. Yeah, um, yeah, it's pretty bad with her. See, that's the thing though, right? Spike Quick says, Albert, if you spend $13 for some popcorn, it's better. Thank you, Spider. Ugh. Ariana says, I can make popcorn all year at my goddamn house. Yes. But apparently, when I say it, I'm cheap. Cheap ass. DC says, what did Nancy Brown do now? I thought she took a break from being a Twitter gangster. Oh, she has, but we were watching some scenes from Santa Barbara, and Sean actually liked her acting. You know, he was like, listen, I'm not normally a Nancy Brown fan, but like these scenes are actually pretty good. So that's one of happening. Uh, DC says you could get two items at the movies for food, and it's like 30. Yes, Sean just joking. He joking. He's a jokester. Yes. Her and the other dude that came on there, that was Xander's father. Jibu says it's nuts for the movie prices, and I have the food and drinks to be a similar price. I paid for three stream. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, yo, listen. There are certain movies that I would just wait. She's always been aggressive. Yeah, there are certain movies I will just not see in movie theaters. Then there's others I would. Now, DC says, I remember back in the day, people would smuggle food into the theaters, and security was stopped like you were sneaking into the White House or something. I just go and I sit down and watch the movie, and that's it. And then I go and you know go somewhere else and eat for like a reasonable price. And that's the point of it. It's not necessary. It's not me being cheap. Is the point of it. Someone says she would be an employee if it was up to me. I think she's too much of a good actress, though. That's the thing. I think, like, listen, and it made me think about something for a hot minute, right? Like separating the art for the artists. These prices are expensive, but I get it. Movie. Well, yes, of course. And that's the thing, though. Like, they don't really make money off the tickets. They make their money off of the concession stands. They don't really get a lot of money off of the tickets. So I get their exorbitant prices. But I'm not the person that's going to sit there and help them make the difference. That's the thing. But see, that's the thing, though, right? She's a shitty person, but she's a good actress. And I think the thing what it really comes down to is like, I think that's how most people will see her when they watch this stuff, right? But then the question is though, like, I think it depends on people's moral values, right? Because they always sit there and say, well, listen, you should be able to separate the art from the artist. Okay. Kanye West is a shitty person, but he makes good music. Puff Daddy is a shitty person, but I like his songs, right? But how far or how duplicitous does somebody actually have to be to a point where you are not going to be able to separate the art from the artist? That's the question. Rosemary says, "Got to go cook dinner now. Pork chops and rice. Oh, I love rice roni and vegetables. Yes, have a good night, Rosemary. It was really great to see you. Rice roni is really good. Like that's true play, Diane. I could totally see how another soap like why. I mean, like being big. I would never stop degrading her. I guess we just haven't found the right scene for you, Sean. But I get it though. Okay, Sean. Like just in case you don't know, I am kind of trolling you a little bit. Um, DC says I found out today Diddy got charges. Kind of shock. Honestly, is getting OJ something. Yeah, it's actually kind of funny, DC, because I thought about what you said. You did kind of a test when we did our last collab, and it made me sit there and think like, no, but you did a test, and it made me sit there and think like, what is something that somebody can do that's heinous, where you can't separate the art from the artist, right? I mean, think about R. Kelly, right? And you know what? Some people will still listen to his music, knowing what he did. Like, where's your line? Where's your line at where you're just like, you know what? I can't fuck with you. I can't watch any movies that you've done. I can't listen to any music that you've done. I can't do it. Like Chris says, I'm surprised people hate Nancy Grace since I believe she hates our current president. Like a lot of people. Yeah, well, the problem is, Spider, is here's the thing. If she, okay, If she was just a person that just hated the current president, okay, fine. Why people don't like her is that she's not respectful towards other people's political views. Hell, she would literally sit there and come at somebody sideways if they don't believe what she believes. That's the issue. Because it's not like it's a popularity contest. Oh, I hate this person, and everybody else hates them, so they're good. It's that she is not respectful towards other people's views. Hell, she literally sat there and said, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to call out every other person who, um, okay, you know what? No, now DC says, I miss the days when people didn't know everyone's political views, honestly. Yeah, but here's the problem though, DC. Okay, so let's just sit there and say we got a DeLorean, we did that, right? And but here's the problem with that is DC. I get what he's saying. DC's like he missed a time where people didn't know about their political views and stuff like that. Okay, but I'm gonna be honest. There's certain things that I may need to know. Like there's certain things that people have that the political stuff aside. There's sometimes where it's like you don't know if you can rock with them as an actor, right? Okay, I don't think Alyssa's actually in the chat, but like, and that's the thing though, Sean. But like, there's certain times where it's like I need to sit there and know how somebody is as a person, right? But that's the thing though, DC. So basically, what DC Smith is saying is that ignorance is bliss, right? So I miss the days when we didn't know everyone's political views. But it goes beyond that, though, right? Because it's not just okay, but let's just sit there and say, okay, but okay, so let's sit there and take that away. Do you see? Let's take that away. Let's take away the political aspect. What if it's something else that's more heinous? What is the most heinous thing? Do you see? What is the most heinous thing that can make you not rock with somebody? That can make you be like, you know what? Listen, I don't support what they do. Because political abuse aside, what is something that would make you be like, I can't rock with this person? I want to know. There's certain things I would want to know about somebody and be like, you know what, listen, I can't rock with you because you did this. I mean, there's a bunch of someone who abused animals and kids, for example. Okay, so let's sit there and say that you found out that that person you watched that person for like let's say 5 years. And you found out that that person was an animal abuser or a kid abuser. Wouldn't you have liked to know that beforehand before you sat there and rooted for them or rooted for them as a person? I don't know. I just, the thing is, like, I get what DC Smith is saying. Again, it's the whole argument of ignorance is bliss. But, like, he just practically sat there and said, like, animal abuse or whatever. So, like, you would look at that person differently. I only sit there and say that to you and Have a night, Lord B. I'm always going to say that to you and Sean because Sean. We talked on Sundays and member stream, which you should become a member again. Have a night, Sean. Um, and just think about that for a half minute. Justin says, "Do you think Kat will eventually catch Eva and Thomas in the act?" I think it's going to drag out. I really do. I think it's going to drag out. And okay, Jonathan, let me ask you a question. Do you think what Thomas is doing with Kat? I mean, do you think what Thomas is doing with Eva is wrong? What's my goddamn music? Why the fuck they just shut off like that? Son of a bitch. Okay. Like Steve Byrne is a Republican. Does that change the way we see him? For some people, but I mean, my point is, John. I mean, my point is, DC, is that I get what you're saying. Too much knowledge can be a bad thing, but at the same time, I do think that sometimes they may want to know about something, you know, rather they are racist or they abuse animals or whatever. Like we all have our thresholds, and I think that. So but I see both sides of what you're saying. I see what you and Sean are saying. Jay Blue says, "Good job, Nina, planting the seeds in Drew's head about the possibility that Willow might be responsible." I don't think that she intended on doing that. I think she blamed Drew. I see what you mean. She blamed Drew for that. And, again, Drew was like, "What are you talking about? I would never sit there and do that to a baby." Yeah, but you had no problem doing that to your nephew. Like you had no problems doing that to your nephew. Like so, like what are you talking about? Casey says because as a society we have a general moral code regardless of what someone does or produces. So like I think that's my whole thing. Right? Like Sean left and maybe I'll sit there and talk about this in the next show. Like, Sean was like, he likes the 80s and stuff like that. He missed the time before like cell phones and internet and stuff. But like for me, I want to know what kind of person I'm sitting there rocking with, right? I want to sit there and know if they're a terrible person, if they're abuses animals, abuses elderly, or child diddler, or whatever, right? It's like the flow of information can be good or bad if you really look at it. But most people, you know, it's just like it's better to just not know. And, they go with the whole ignorance is bliss thing. Sean, are you the Gen X generation? No, he's from the '80s. He's not here anymore, but he's from the '80s stuff. So like he was from a time period before the internet, and you know, so like he didn't have to sit there and be listening to somebody whatever political charge or whatever stuff that they had going on. And I get it on some level, but like I don't know. I may want to make it a video about it. DC says besides this segregation, besides this racism, I would love to live. Oh, besides the segregation piece and racism, I would love to live in the 1950s. That sounds horrible. I'm gonna be honest. That sounds fucking horrible. I just, I don't know. I guess part of me, whenever I hear like people sit there and say, "Oh, I miss the '80s. I love the time period before the internet," and I'm just like, you do realize because you live in a time period with the internet existing, you get to make that opinion. You get to sit there and have these conversations in these streams to sit there and talk about how you miss the '80s and the '90s and stuff. So it's like, okay, so I'm gonna sit there and take what DC says. What he's joking, people. He doesn't really mean that. I'm just like, I don't know. It's like, well, people sit there and talk about they miss the time periods, whatever. It's like, I don't know. Johnson says we live in a time period where it's easier to do. Yeah, we live in a time period it's easier to do things. We can work remotely. We don't necessarily have to go to the office. Um, I mean, see, that's the thing though. Like somebody sat there and said, like, well, I enjoyed not having to deal with cell phones. Did you enjoy dealing with what do you call those things? Pagers? Did you enjoy time periods we had to sit there and deal with pagers? Does anyone remember what pagers was? Okay. So pagers was before cell phones, obviously. And a pager pretty much would sit there and give you a message, and you would have to go to a payphone, okay, with all the germs and God knows what else, just to be able to sit there and I never had a pager. But you understand how inconveniencing a pager was though. And a beep, god damn Jonathan, and a beeper, yes, I'm from Gen Y, but I'm a late millennial. No pagers or beepers. Yeah, exactly. A pager or a beep or whatever. You would have to pagers were so damn annoying. Exactly. There you go. Okay, DC says pages made folks feel official. We knew if we had a page, you were handling your business, you were someone important. That's true. Now, Stephen said, I'm going to call DC on my rotary pricey. I didn't feel inconvenienced. I was like, yo, listen, you had to sit there and call back the person after getting the message from the pager. You'd be like that just seems so it just seems so damn inconveniencing. Like I got a phone yeah, doctors and is that there you go, doctors and goddamn drug dealers who sit there and use that shit. So like I just and again, are we forgetting that when we had to sit there and talk to people, or we had to call people sometimes in a walk I mean on a walk phone, yeah, but also a fucking payphone. Can we like seriously? Can we just sit there and think about the goddamn payphones for a hot minute? I'm good with that. I was never a phone person. Listen, I'm not between Gen Z and Gen Y. Gen Z and Gen Y. I'm full blown millennial, just pure Gen Y. DC says when people made the most of their conversations, when cell phones only gave 3 minutes on the weekends, conversations were okay. See, I will give them that. Yes, that's very true. You weren't just at the grocery stores talking about your sex life or whatever. No pay phones. Yeah, but yeah, that was the thing though. I feel like maybe one day we ought to sit there and have a conversation about the '80s versus um, whatever era that we live in before I start drinking. Ariana says no pay phones. Yeah, no goddamn pay phones. that they put my lips and there were like 100. Put my goddamn lips where like almost 100 something people, 1,000 something people have put their coffee sweaty germs on. Yeah, now that sounds promising. Jay Blue says I used the payphone. I have white before. I used the payphone. Come prepared. Yeah, you did. How many other people probably didn't know, right? The 1950s didn't have video games. Yeah, yeah, that's. But you know the thing is, Jonathan, I hate to play devil's advocate, but like, yeah, you didn't have video games. You had to go outside and socialize with people. Yes. See, okay, DC knows about that. Yes, you can talk until like 9 o'clock. Yes, my smartphone of that time period. No, but DC's right. See, that's the thing, though, right? Like, okay, so like you didn't have time for video. You didn't have the video games. I mean, we're talking about the 19th. I'm okay. I mean, to be fair, I'm more talking about like the 1980s. Um, Listen, don't get me wrong. I love the time period that we live in. Okay, I'm not saying that this thing is the best, but like if I look at the 80s, there was some major problems with the 80s. Okay? And I can make a whole fucking video about that, but like when you had a cell phone back in the day, it was seen as your arrival in life. You were the man. I mean, you remember you had car phones? I mean, listen, if we're gonna go 80s, let's go with car phones. My smartphone of that time period. I lived okay. Alyssa says I lived in the era when there were flip phones, T-Mobile sidekicks, and Blackberries. Yeah, we're almost similar in age, so yes, I do remember that. Remember dial-up? Yep. That is actually very true, DC. Yes. DC J Blue says use your imagination, get creative with your free time, read books, hang with friends without distractions. Not everyone had the experience with car phones. Yeah, no, and but okay, I will sit there and say this much. Okay? And don't get me wrong, for the people that like the 80s, y'all not gonna like it. But I will sit there and say that holding on to friendships was a lot more meaningful back in the 80s. Okay, I honestly want to live in a mountain if I could. I, okay, that's a whole nother. That sounds like a whole nother video. But like holding on to friendships meant more back then because you didn't have Facebook. You didn't have, you know what I'm saying? Like you didn't have Facebook. And even with Facebook now or Instagram now, like you may have them, but you may not have sat there and talked to them for like 5 or 7 years. Car phones were impractical. I think I only sit there and say because like I remember watching a game. I don't do big cities. I remember growing up. I lived near NYC, and it made me panicky. Well, like no, holding on to friendships back then was an effort. Right now we have Facebook, and it's like, oh, I can connect with people and stuff like that. How many times do people have people on Facebook that they don't talk to? They're like, yeah, I know so and so. Yeah, you know them, but when's the last time you talked to them? When's the last time you talked to them on the phone? When's the last time you saw them? Yeah. So friendships and holding on to friendships meant a lot more back then. I would sit there and say. J Blue says, I grew up on an island in the Caribbean. Beaches were more my speed, and climbing trees, not sitting inside, not playing video games. And don't get me wrong, like, listen, I still play video games to this day. I do have actual friends, like outside friends or whatever, but like, you know, the point is, J Blue, J Blue is just kind of building on what I said before. You know, going outside, being active, and being social. Kids don't, some kids don't have that, and they don't have social skills. And social being able to actually have social cues and stuff that is very important in life. I always sit there and say like, you pick up some of those social cues when you do retail because you have to sit there and be able to talk to people. But like if you're constantly isolated and you just play video games, you don't go outside, you don't actually make real connections. It's kind of a problem. I'm not gonna lie. On quality over quantity when it comes to friends. Yeah, no, and I believe that too. Like people can sit there and have 1,000 something people on your Facebook. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're your friends. Now DC says everybody is scared of each other now. Everyone has been comfortable. It's not so much that they're scared, it's that they're comfortable. They're comfortable and so therefore they don't want to sit there and go out and actually make an effort in being social with other people. You look at like dating apps and stuff like that. People says comfortable how? What do you mean comfortable how? People with such a problem with singing inside all day. The kids I work with a lot of social emotional issues. I joined a kickball team a while. Oh, DC, yo, listen, you gotta sit there and tell us about that. I want to hear about your kickball, your kickball experiences, your kickball adventures. That's what I want to know. Justin says Nickelodeon has a special event called Worldwide Day of Play where they go off the air for 3 hours and cars. Really? I did not know that they did that. Wow. Nickelodeon had a special event called Worldwide Day of Play where they would go off the air for 3 hours and encourage their viewers to go out and play. And yet they had all the scandals that they had in Nickelodeon. Y'all know what I'm talking about too. But wow. DC says it was great. I may rejoin come the fall because I find stuff that is easier to make connection with people when you have a shared goal. Yes, that's true. That's true. That's actually very true. That's actually very true. Jake Blue says people are scared out there though. Lot of people are people are scary out there though. Lots of mental and emotional issues, overstepping people boundaries. It's increased since the pandemic. That's true. Have a night, Alyssa. Thank you for joining. It was great to see you, and we'll get to see you soon. No, Jay Blue is actually very correct. DC says because I think most people think when they get into a relationship they do more stuff. which is not true. They will wow and then default to factory settings. Yes, that's actually very true. See chat not all the time. DC trolls. There's times where he could be on point and everything like that. So just because DC could be the jokester sometimes doesn't mean that you know very 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 true. Okay, plus being more active is good for the mental health, and it can also help create community and develop interests and share passions. Yes. People says I'm also of a certain age now. My tolerance for people ISO craziness is low. Yeah, no, I get that. Trust me. Listen. When you work in retail, you deal with all sorts of people, and that is. I think the honestly touch you. I think that's when your social skills or social cues really needs to kick in. And you only get those by actually, dealing with people outside of the internet. Not just your friends that you talk to on Facebook, but like actual people though. As well as sometimes I feel people are more open to getting to know people because it's not a buffet. True. J Blue says, "Do you have good customer service?" I do. I do. I think here's the thing though. Like when you work in retail, it's sink or swim, right? So like if you don't have good social cues, your day is going to be a lot more miserable than it should, right? If I mean honestly, tell you, the truth, sometimes it just comes down to being able to have a conversation with someone. I think that's what it is. It comes down to having a conversation with someone. You don't necessarily have to have interest involved, but you need to know how to be able to talk to people. And I've seen people who don't have good social cues, and their day is a lot more miserable because of it. Listen, notice that they're saying that you gotta do retail for life, but I think that it's important for people to sit there and at least do retail at least once or a couple of times, just a certain amount of time to understand that, like to be able to talk to people. Miranda says you have to be able to read the room and the players. Yeah, I'm gonna pin that shit. Hold on. Ariana is 100% correct. There you go. She is 100. Yeah. Spike Quest, DC, New York City is the best state. Is it though? Is it though, Spider? Is it the best state? I mean, let's just. It's not. This. This. Come on, Spider. We were doing good up until that point. I love how Albert does it. I was like, is it? DC says, I'm a customer service, so you also have to anticipate. Oh, in customer service, you also have to anticipate needs before they arrive. So, yes. No, no. It's like a science to it. It is. It's just spice me talking. New York City is the best city. I was like, let's not. I mean, it's better than some places if we're gonna be honest, but let's not. let's not sit there and say it's the best. Let's not go there. I say all that. It's funny. I can only co-sign so much. But that's the same. Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, like, no city is perfect. No city is perfect. And some cities are better than others. And I'm not gonna sit there and say that New York City is the worst, but we not gonna sit there. What I like about Florida is laws is strict on grass. I wish New York City was like that. I hate the smell of grass. I don't know how I like that for we were doing good, but I don't know what happened, bro. I don't know what happened. It was like you just veered off left. And no, Jonathan's correct. No city is perfect. So I'm not going to sit there and try to make it seem like New York City is Basuda, but like we're not gonna sit there and play that game. I mean, do you know what I mean by grass? I'm just saying, I'm just saying area. Oh, okay. No, I kind of have an idea, but like, okay, I kind of have an idea what you're talking about, but like, that's also kind of left field, though, Spider. People said just like a band comes to town and scream your city's name, and the fans lose their mind. Like I said, I was like, it's not. Spider was like, New York City's the best. I was like, it's not good. Don't get me wrong. Okay, listen, I've heard the stories of Detroit. Okay, I've heard the stories of Detroit. I know that Chicago people call it Chirac, but you know, and, listen. Okay, so DC lives in Florida, and let me tell you something. There's a reason why Charlemagne always says the craziest people come from the Bronx in all Florida. Okay, because Florida's gonna Florida. Listen, listen, they may have nice weather. I heard, of course. I mean, yeah. I mean, ATL. That's ATL. I'm not even gonna get into that, but in Chirac, like I said, Florida gonna Florida. Okay? The craziest people come from the Bronx, North Florida, and the Bronx is pretty bad. I mean, Brooklyn is not, that big, but I ain't going to the Bronx anytime soon. What I'm going to say about that. But I'm going to end the stream here. John, no, listen. I want to go to Las Vegas. I want to go to Las Vegas. Despite what CSI always sit there and talk about, I want to go to Las Vegas. I want to go to Las Vegas. Yeah. But I'm going to sit there and end the stream here. Um, I'm kind of debating if I'm going to stream tomorrow or not. I'm not too sure. I do have to work in the morning, so Spiker says if you go to Vegas, you go broke. I'm kind of already broke, so I like I don't understand. Like exactly, it was like I'm already there. Like how can I area? You should go to. I want to go to Vegas. If we see bread, try and string. Okay, all right, Spider. All right. Have a good night, Susan. Have a good night, J Blue. Have a good night, Stefan. Have a good night, Ariana. It was great to see you. Johnson says, join it for another edition of Soap Chop with Albert Bostic. Thank you. Jay Blue says, I went to Vegas broke. I didn't gamble. I'm gonna go to Vegas and be broke. That's no. I'm gonna go to Vegas and be in the negative because like that I'm already there. So uh, I love it. Have a good night, Jay Blue. Justin says, "Can I everyone to hit the like? Yes, hit that like button. Hit that like button because it does help. Like, it really does. Like, seriously, it does. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I'm not the problem though. Everyone keeps sitting there saying like I'm the problem. I'm not the problem. I'm totally fine with that person. So like I don't have an issue on my end. So like that's on the other person's end. The other person wants to sit there and say and be kumbaya. That's cool, but like I don't have a problem with that person. So like I say you are, but it takes two to make up. I can't think of anything bad to say, so I'm not going to say anything. But I appreciate you, Spider. Not that there's anything bad about it on my part. I just want to sit there and point that out. But yeah, have a good night, everyone. I'll see y'all in the next stream. Laters.